Watch the real-life program about exceptional destinies, remarkable opportunities, and unbelievable facts right now.
Well, architecture is one of my most favorite topics. His office is combined with a kitchen and his bedroom with a library. The famous architect's home is rather a functional object. There are lots of his works on the walls, shelves, and in alcoves. He's a restorer, researcher, cultural studies scholar, and doctor of philosophy in architecture. His advanced age is another reason to admire his multiple talents. Almas Ordabayev still sees a curiosity of the world. I'd like to have a look at the world in 200 years. I'm dying of curiosity. Ordabayev Square. Who harms modern architecture? What do the Prince of Benin and Almaty Cathedral have in common? The mausoleum of Ahmed Yassawi. Can Emir Timur rest in peace? This is his favorite work. Almas has taken it with him from one flat to another for 46 years. He's been to Khiva about 10 times. He absorbed the spirit of the ancient city and then shared his experience with his students. From time to time, he takes a brush to fill in the emptiness. Khiva of the times of Nizami, Navai, and Ferdowsi is always with him. These characters were made according to ancient Iranian Minsha style, and there are a lot of parts where other characters, including boys and girls, appear. The clothing of these things will be improved too.
Где появятся, может быть, новые персонажи, там мальчишки, девчонки и так далее. Где-то появится другой, уточнится облицовка этих вещей.
This picture, which seems abstract at first sight, is Almas Ordabayev's life's motto. He always strives. It appeared as an illustration accompanying an old Soviet joke about a little blue animal. No matter what situation the character finds himself in, a little blue animal having red eyes always manages to crawl out. It reminds me that I shouldn't sleep. This helped him when he was working on the restoration of the mausoleum of Ahmed Yassawi in Turkestan. Had it not been for Almas, the world might have lost this masterpiece. The mausoleum of Khoja Ahmed Yassawi is situated in Turkestan. Emir Timur, who started the construction of the magnificent building, did not see the work finished because he died in 1405. The gates and a part of the dome remained without facing for almost 6 centuries. The restoration work began in the 1970s. A few years before I started work on the Aris-Turkestan Canal was dug. Its level was 15 meters higher than the city level. This led to flooding of soil. Then I wrote a letter to the government warning them that if we didn't stop the catastrophic processes which started to affect the monument immediately, nothing would remain to fasten the tiles to. At that time, we were concentrating on the tiles because we didn't like either their color nor shape. They heeded his warning. He, a person from the restoration laboratory, rose to commanding heights. He became the head of the Monument Security Department of the Ministry of Culture. The process was stimulating. The challenging work on pumping groundwater began. The mausoleum was drained and the stone construction was repaired. However, they had to clad the dome by rule of thumb because they didn't have a model. I was worried because there was a restoration rule saying that if you don't know what it was like, you shouldn't touch it.
Если не знаешь, что это было, оставь как есть.
He didn't sleep peacefully for 20 years. He says that once, when he was leveling ground so that it could reach the historic level, he found a spirit of beauty who lived 6 centuries ago, or her perfume, to be exact. Now he regrets that he couldn't resist the curiosity. I removed the stopper, and there was an incredibly pleasant, fresh, beautiful aroma which unfortunately disappeared very quickly. If I'd known about it, I wouldn't have opened it at home, but would have shown it to an expert. No, nothing has remained.
Может быть, показал бы специалисту. Нет.
Here is Almas Ordabayev's works in a different field, connected with the Civil War, and a monument to the Red Guards fighting against Ataman Amenkov's detachments. Look, this is a Japanese bullet. I found it in Cherkask village, where Cherkask defense fights had taken place. My friend Timur Suleymenov and I set up the Cherkask Defense Monument there.
Тимуром Сулейменовым сделал памятник, монумент Черкасской обороны.
This is his own story, reminding us of Maleevich's epoch-making Black Square. It's Ordabayev's Square. There are a few of them too. All of them are split up. There is pain and striving to take the right
Это
form.
вот та моя архитектурная часть. Потому что архитекторы...
This is the architectural part of me, because architects strive for wholeness, geometrical structure and value, modern architecture of the 20th century. However, this picture demonstrates that unfortunately it's subject to various deformations. Probably the same can be said about me.
Что она, увы, подвержена всевозможным деформациям, тоже видно про это. И, наверное, вместе с нею я сам.
Imhotep was the name of the first architect, who we have scientific information about. He was in charge of the construction of the pyramid for Egyptian pharaoh Djeser in the 3rd millennium BC. Napoleon once said, "You aren't taller than me, you're longer."
Вы длиннее меня.
He's been good at drawing and playing musical instruments since childhood. He did a degree in cello at the music school. He quite literally grew up in a cultural sphere. The editorial department of Socialistic Kazakhstan was in one hut, and Kazakhstanskaya Pravda was in another. Behind the fence of our yard, which is shared with the editorial department, there was a conservatoire, dormitory and school of music.
Было общежитие консерватории. И там же в первом этаже была музыкальная школа. Мы вырастали.
We grew up to the sounds of violin because they played all the time.
Все время занимались.
His father was a journalist and spoke only Kazakh, while his mother spoke only Tatar. As for Almas, he grew up reading books in Russian, as there are a lot of them in the house.
Как я смеюсь, у меня 1,5 языка.
I joke that I can speak 1.5 languages. My knowledge of Russian amounts to about 80%, and English and Kazakh constitute the other 70%.
70% это на английский и на казахский.
He didn't become a musician. Unexpectedly, he chose the brush. Before the final exam at school, during which I was supposed to play the cello, I made a kind of cannon, loaded it, put match heads inside, lit them, and the cannon didn't fire immediately. It exploded, and the cannon hit my finger, and the wound was so deep, it hit the bone. As a result, I couldn't play music.
Разорвалась при дной этой пушки мне прямо вот в этот палец и до самой кости. То есть я был освобожден от музыки вот таким случаем.
I was 15 or 16 then, and my face took on a manly expression. Anyway, it was forgivable.
Ну, простительно.
The design of the Academy of Sciences building was produced by legendary Shusev, who had designed the mausoleum of Lenin. Ordabayev worked on the Academy interior designs. He says that the most important part of education is choosing a school. It was a real blessing that he met his teachers. Zaltzman and Itkin were talented artists and teachers. He'd been teaching for many years himself and says that it's important not to get bogged down in modern bureaucracy.
Как сложно.
It's difficult. It's so difficult for these guys who, however, they have the internet now and they pay attention to it before it's too late. It will be possible to get out of the bog of provincialism. Previously, the evacuees and exiles helped us to get out of the bog.
Обратить на это внимание, то можно из болота провинциализма выползать. Можно. А тогда из этого болота нам выползать помогали эвакуированные и сосланные.
He uses a brush, pencil and camera. He's already dedicated more than 50 years of his life to the art of capturing frozen moments. In the 1960s, Almas Ordabayev worked as a senior artist at the Exhibition of Achievements of the National Economy. He saw milkmaids' rosy cheeks, Soviet children's happy faces, and many Stakhanovites there. The artist's hand followed party lines to the letter. He was very surprised to find out that he couldn't go abroad. It turned out that he spent too much time looking at the works of his American colleagues. A person who attended an exhibition more than twice automatically became suspect. Oh, there was one more reason why I couldn't leave the country. In 1961, I drew Stalin because it was already permitted. And on the other side, I drew Khrushchev. Almas managed to walk to his almost 80th anniversary. He walks 2 to 3 kilometers a day. He says you should get off the bus 2 or 3 stops early. This is the reason why I refuse to accept cars which were given to me as presents, twice or 3 times. As soon as I get a car, I'll put on weight, become pot-bellied, and die early. Almaty Cathedral was built in 1907. Ordabayev took part in its restoration. He saw over everything with his own eyes, touched everything, and then drew inferences about the condition of the walls, stucco and mouldings. When he ascended to the attic situated under the arches, he unexpectedly found a statue there.
Там были какие-то странные чучела, ну копии, правда, буддийских каких-то вот этих.
There were some strange stuffed animals and of course copies of Buddhist monsters and this copy of a German sculpture. The original is in the collection of curiosities in St. Petersburg. It was an image of the prince, the ruler. It was represented as an idol against which they had to fight.
Правителя. Он там фигурировал в виде идола, дурацкого идола, против которого надо бороться.
The Prince of Benin, an example of the Soviet anti-religious propaganda, was moved to Ordabayev's flat and obtained political asylum there. It was restored since Almas made the missing part from plasticine. After that, it was worshipped again.
И вот она...
This sculpture became an idol, spirit of ancestors. For my daughters, I say it half-jokingly now. Recently, my eldest daughter arrived and I told her to feed it. In childhood, instead of smearing its lips with butter, as had been done in ancient times, she used chocolate.
Она в детстве все время мазала ему губы не маслом, как это было в древности, а шоколадкой.
In Mangistau, he went on expeditions for many years. He studied the architecture of ancient monuments. A petrified horsetail, mollusks and arrowheads are carefully kept in a transparent box. These are animals. This is a sea urchin. If local residents knew that it's 300 million years old, they probably wouldn't take it home, but would have taken it to a school museum.
Они бы, конечно, потащили бы, если не в школьный музей, то домой.
He's a doctor of philosophy. He's a philosopher in life too. He touches the past, preserves the present, and still searches the future.
Это о том, что жизнь, к сожалению, идет в одну сторону.
The fact is, unfortunately, life goes only in one direction. If only it was possible to return back and correct that mistake, this mistake, and see what would happen in 5, 10, 20 years.
10-20 лет.